President Trump is eliminating America's largest federally funded news outlet with an executive order Friday ordering the U.S. Agency for Global Media to be disbanded, including all of its individual networks. The directive states Trump is working to shrink federal agencies he deems unnecessary or inefficient, explaining a need to reduce the performance of their statutory functions and associated personnel to the minimum presence and function required by law. In compliance with the president, majority of USAGM staff were placed on paid leave on March 15th.
This is the Voice of America, Washington, D.C., signing on.
This includes Voice of America, a news agency established in 1942 during critical moments in history.
Today, America has been at war for 79 days.
During World War II, VOA made its first broadcast to counter Nazi propaganda and join other global leaders on the airwaves. It has since grown to an audience of over 354 million people worldwide. In a statement, VOA's director says, "I am deeply saddened that for the first time in 83 years, the storied Voice of America is being silenced. VOA needs thoughtful reform. We have made progress in that regard." VOA says they're built on the freedom of the press, establishing what's known as the firewall in 1994 to guarantee credibility and uphold the highest professional standards for journalists. President Trump disagrees, calling the agency's work radical propaganda. After his executive order, the White House shared their reasons, including claims from a 34-year-old former VOA correspondent who called the outlet a rogue operation aligning with mainstream media. The White House also says VOA staff could not refer to Hamas as a terrorist organization unless quoting a statement. They point to multiple stories covered by VOA, like transgender migrants seeking asylum, white privilege, and Russia's alleged efforts to help Trump, all stories that received criticism. USAGM senior advisor Carrie Lake, appointed by President Trump, says the agency is beyond saving, arguing not only is it a risk to national security, but also a waste of taxpayer money. Lake says while VOA had talented public servants, most were trying to Trump-proof the agency, saying, "I look forward to moving forward with modernizing the core mission of telling America's story throughout the world in a meaningful, impactful, and effective way." USAGM also funds Radio Free Europe and Radio Free Asia, which broadcast news to countries under authoritarian rule. Trump's order would also impact Cubans who watch and listen to radio and television Martí across the island. These stations were put in place by President Reagan in Cuba as a way to increase democracy within the country. The Chinese government has long disagreed with VOA and RFA, labeling their stories critical of China as false narratives about life in the country. The U.S. Agency for Global Media has until Friday to tell the Office of Management and Budget which functions are legally required under federal law. If budget requests are submitted, the OMB director will reject funding if it goes against Trump's executive order, unless it's needed to carry out a pending closure. For Straight Arrow News, I'm Kaylee Carey.